We're joined by new Duke women's basketball head coach Kara Lawson. Coach, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on the new position. I'm curious to start with, you were having so much success, obviously, with the Celtics organization. What was it that made you decide to leave the NBA path and go to this college opportunity?
Thanks for having me, guys. I think there are special times in your life where a place and their values align with yours. And what was unique about the process for me is I had kind of gone through something like that a year ago when I decided to join the Celtics. I was working with you all for many years at ESPN and had a great career and was really enjoying covering the sport that I love. And then Brad Stevens called, and I talked with him. I talked with Danny Ainge, and I just felt like that was really a place that I needed to be. And I will say to you, it was a similar story with Duke. When Duke called and I got the opportunity to talk with them, to meet with Kevin White, the athletic director, with Nina King, the deputy athletic director, with Mike Krzyzewski, David Cutcliffe, all of the people that just the values aligned with the type of place I want to be around. And I always had a dream to be a head coach since I was a kid. And this was an opportunity to do so at, I think, the best place in the country for college basketball.
And you mentioned you'd been working with us for a while, but having that dream and getting back into it this year, being an assistant with the Celtics, what was it about that process that reminded you this is what you want to do? Or what was it about being back that just felt like the right decision at the time?
As far as going from broadcasting to coaching?
Yeah, going from broadcasting just back into it, finally taking that plunge and going down this path to something you had dreamt about.
Yeah, I mean, I think our business, whether it's broadcasting or whether it's basketball, I think you guys would agree it comes down to people, right? The people that you work with every day and how fulfilling it is for you professionally. And while I wanted to coach, I didn't want to do so unless it was around the right type of people. And that doesn't mean that anyone I talked to or a job I didn't take, that doesn't mean that they didn't have the right kind of people. But I don't know any other way to explain it. Otherwise, it's a feel that you get when you interact with them, and that you're aligned, that you're on the same page. And Boston is one of the best organizations in the NBA. I think it's the best organization in the NBA when you look at how much synergy there is between ownership and the front office. The coach, the type of players and the type of roster that we have. It's been a basketball utopia for me to be around those guys and get to know them. And I'm sad to be leaving them, especially in the midst of what we hope is a long playoff run that culminates with the title. But they're so excited for me to have the chance to lead my own program. And they're Duke women's basketball fans now.
Kara Lawson joining us again. What an incredible resume. Played her college ball at Tennessee under the legendary Pat Summitt. First-round pick, 5th overall in the 2003 WNBA draft. Won a title with the Sacramento Monarchs. Also played for the Connecticut Sun and the Washington Mystics. And we've been talking about assistant coach for the Boston Celtics. Now, Kara, we always love talking to first-time head coaches. You sit in the big chair. So your first time in the big chair, what did you take from the other coaches you played under or coached with, and what is the Kara Lawson way?
The first time I sat in the big chair, Golic, I started calling recruits. That's what I did, because that is the number one thing that we need to do to continue to grow our program. Is we have great student athletes in our program currently, but we have to keep them coming. So the number one thing I've been doing is talking to players, talking to coaches, talking to parents, and really trying to help familiarize them with me, with my story, and with my vision for the Duke program. I think as far as what I'm taking from all the different places that I've been, I think I'm taking a little bit from everybody. I mean, obviously Pat Summitt, I'm probably taking a larger share of things just because I spent more time around her than most of the other coaches that I was fortunate enough to play under. But I think the diversity of my experiences is really one of my strengths, to have been exposed to so many great coaches. I said this to my friend the other day. If if you lived your life and you got an opportunity to play for Pat Summitt, you would have lived a full life, like literally, like that's how great she was. You would have loved to have had that opportunity, and you could have had no other opportunities or exposures in the game of basketball, and you would have been fulfilled as a person. I can promise you that. If you got a chance to coach with Brad Stevens, the same things would apply. If you get a chance to coach alongside Mike Krzyzewski at Duke, I mean, are you kidding me? Those three people and what they stand for and what they mean for the game. I couldn't be happier to be around the mentors that I've been around, and I'm so looking forward to getting a chance to spend more time with Coach K.
We're talking to new Duke women's basketball head coach Kara Lawson. Coach, you mentioned Pat Summitt there, and I heard you reference in another interview that you'd vocalized your want to be a coach to Pat, obviously. What advice did she give you that sticks in your head today as you start this journey?
I wouldn't say it was one specific piece of advice, but I will tell you that it was a 4-year process that probably impacted me more than any other. I was a shy kid coming out of high school, pretty introverted off the floor. And she made it her mission to make me comfortable speaking in front of people, to make me comfortable communicating at a high level. And she always told me, your ceiling will always be limited, no matter what sector of business you go into, if you do not have the ability to communicate effectively and confidently. So it doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how hard you work. If you can't communicate well, you're always going to be limited. And it was not an easy process. It was uncomfortable for me throughout my 4 years. She made me take a public speaking course. She used to take me to the press conferences, even if I hadn't played well. I'd say, Coach, Catchings had like 28 points. I had 2. Why am I going to the press conference? Because she wanted me to answer questions and be put in that situation.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.